So for this mini teaching assignment, I chose to focus on the role that a musician has when teaching and practicing and performing a song. So the song that I chose to focus on was Bach's Fugue Allergique by Johann Sebastian Bach. This song is not terribly long. It's about 5-ish minutes. And the purpose of this lesson plan is so that in a orchestra or band or even choral setting, students are consciously aware of when they're performing a piece, they're not just playing the notes, but they're conveying the story that the composer wanted them to tell through their music. So when listening to a song and preparing a song for a performance, it's not just about practicing it, making sure it's right, but it's about infusing it with um, dynamics and stylistic choices so that the audience can really not only hear but visualize the story that's being told. Um, and I think this is one of the most important jobs of a musician when they are playing a composer's music. So on this in this lesson plan that I had kind of written out, I focused on creating this assignment, and the assignment would be called the Music Repertoire Discussion. I chose my standards from the South Carolina Standards for Immediate Band, so that students will have to listen, analyze, and describe music, describing specifically music events in any given oral example, using appropriate terminology, and to analyze the uses of the elements of music in examples representing diverse genres and cultures. I used these standards because they have a little bit of flexibility in them, and it allows for not just this song, but for any song from any genre or culture, spanning over the whole world, to be used to create, because it's not just focusing on classical music that's important when in the classroom, but all cultures, so that the students can be informed and taught about different societies and their musical cultures that they have there. So in this lesson plan, there are a general description of the purpose for this lesson. And it says that it allows students the time to speak their mind about what they think when analyzing music, and allows students to hear different perspectives, as well as support more learning, because it encourages the students to really dive deeper into the music when analyzing it, so that they can have fruitful conversations and grow as musicians. So it explains the assignment right here. The assignment can be adapted, like I said, for any song. Overall, really, it's the purpose that the student is analyzing the music and listening and being aware of what happens when, way before they even touch their instrument. The goal with this assignment is that after, as you'll see as we continue on, they will fill out a worksheet, basically explaining all of that, and then the goal would be that they come into the classroom the very next day and have to share what they discovered with their peers and with me, so that I can assess not only are they really listening and describing and analyzing music, but the peers and their classmates around them can hear different perspectives of what they got out of, what part of the song, or, what this phrase meant to them, and just the differencing of opinions that can further their growth and understanding when listening and describing and analyzing a song, such as the Bach's Fugue. Here I have my task analysis written out, where it just plainly explains, if I were to teach this lesson in a class, how my goal would be to introduce the song, have it playing while they enter in the classroom of that day, and then as they're entering in, they're listening and paying attention to the song as they prepare to unpack. And as they're unpacked and sitting there waiting for further instructions, I would pose the question, asking about what they heard within the song, or things that stuck out to them as they entered into the classroom. Then the idea would be that they would tell me about some things that they heard, whether stylistically or not. I would have the opportunity to then maybe replay the song for them while they're more focused and pose the questions, and explain to them the importance of really listening to music, that we hear so that we can understand it better rather than just letting it in one ear and out the other. Further explaining that it's our job as musicians to tell the story, like I further explained earlier, so that the audience can hear what the composer was trying to convey when he wrote it, or he or she wrote it. So they would listen to the song again and be aware that they're focusing on, the story that the music might be trying to tell and how they go about telling that story with dynamics and texture and tonality and just all sorts of stuff. After they listen, they would share their new findings. And the idea would that this song would be either the Bach's Fugue, or any song, and then the song that you assign them is obviously a different song. I would ask if they had any questions at this point, and then I would say before we were going to go on to our rehearsal schedule planned for today, here is the assignment that I would like you to do for tonight to turn in for a, formative grade. The idea is that they would listen to the assigned song. Again, this is a different song than what we focused on in class. They would have a worksheet. They'd fill out the worksheet with the questions and then have 3 main points that they would be focusing on that they thought was most important that they got out of the song, so that they could share that in class when they come for the next day. And so the idea is that I would show them the worksheet and show my example copy, kind of show what I want them to get out of it, and ask if they need any clarification. And then we would continue on with the lesson plan for the day, which would be rehearsals. Here I have the direct instruction analysis written out, which is basically the same thing as the task analysis. The only difference is there's a lot more feedback, and here you can see where I have that feedback specifically entered in. Giving feedback is important for students because they need that confirmation that yes, they are doing it right, but it also allows for more growth in the class. Even in classes like orchestra, band, and chorus, feedback is crucial so that students know how to assess what they're doing, critique, and improve. So here I have some links that would be like sample material if this was used for a lesson. I have the song where I found the music I chose from the website was off of J.W. Pepper, where I looked through the song and looked through the website and found some choice song selections, and I ended up choosing this one because I felt it best fit the class and the assignment. The idea is that the song that they end up doing an analysis on is a song that we will further in the semester actually practice and learn and prepare for a concert, so that they aren't just doing the assignment to learn how to analyze, describe, and listen to music, but they're taking what they've learned and how to tell that story and then being able to convert it into music, in the aspect of performing it for an audience, and they can see how all that work they put into it really goes. Here I have a YouTube clip that's been listened to that is the example that we would use in class, and I also have a PDF copy of the paper version of the score if and probably would be ideal to send with the students so that they can follow along with the music. Um, I'm not necessarily sure if it would be in their parts, depending on the instrument that they play, just because of, for band example, that's a lot of different parts that you would have to find the score for. But I also think that would be beneficial because they have something to follow along with, and they can mark in it. It could be theirs, and they um, could use it for when they start learning it in class. And here I just kind of have my worksheet. So this is the worksheet that I would be using for the class. This would be the worksheet that is given to them for them to fill out. And here you can see it plainly has the instructions of what they are to do and the purpose of it. And so I have just a few questions. One is focusing on listening to it, paying attention. What did they like, what they didn't like? Then we have the analysis, them telling me what they hear with textures, rhythms, instruments, and sections with phrases. And then we have describing what they hear with more dynamics and tone and character and tempo, and that's really getting into the story side of it. And then I finally have the four, or for question number 4, I have the top three areas of the song that they would like to discuss in their group. So basically, these would be the points. They would bring this whole paper or worksheet in, but they would focus on these 3 points as how to be involved in the discussion. That's a way that they can be involved in the discussion, and also for me to assess them when they're participating so that I know that they've done the work. They would turn this in for a grade, like I said, a formative assessment, and then they could take from this worksheet and apply it to their music when they're playing. Here would be the example key that I would show them just to give them a little idea of what I'm looking for and how it should look, and etc. And the last little part, this would be my lesson plan template that I would have. I like this format really well because it's clear, straight to the point, and then if an administrator was to come in, they could see my standards, what the students, the I can statement are getting out of it, what the process of my rehearsal and the time they are in the classes for like the activator, the concept development, and then the we do, you do, which would be more of a rehearsal base. Also what I'm looking for, like formative submit assessments, and how we're closing out the class. So overall, this assignment this lesson plan, I think is actually really cool, really fun, and it can allow the students to really think outside the box and experiment with what they think audiences look for, or what they look for when they're the audience in a performance, and how to relay and convey that through their instrument when they are playing it for the assignment or for the concert.